Imagine this. Once a month, a drop of divine nectar is entrusted to you. What happens to that drop depends on how you live, eat, think, and love. The ancients knew this, so they placed such importance on purification. To them, purity was not about rigid rules or denial. It was about keeping the vessel, the body, clear enough to hold the sacred oil without spoiling it. Just as you would not pour fine wine into a dirty glass, they believed the holy secretion could not be preserved in a life clouded by excess, toxins, or turmoil. Purification was not punishment. It was reverence, purity of the body. The first step was the body, for the body is the temple. Across traditions, fasting was seen as the most direct way to preserve the sacred essence. Fasting allowed the body to reset, to burn away impurities, and to make space for the subtle. When the stomach was quiet, the inner senses grew louder. Simple eating, grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs was thought to harmonize with nature's rhythm. Heavy, processed, or intoxicating foods were avoided, not because they were evil, but because they weighed down the body and clouded the mind. Water and herbs were considered sacred companions. To drink pure water was to cleanse the temple. To take in certain herbs was to attune the body to higher vibrations. Today, science echoes this wisdom. Fasting supports healing. Light diets sharpen clarity, and toxins dim mental function. The ancients were not naive. They were precise, purity of the mind. But purification was not only physical. A clean body with a cluttered mind is still an unfit vessel. The ancients taught that fear, anger, resentment, and lust could burn up the sacred oil before it ever reached the pineal gland. A person releasing paper lanterns into the evening sky, symbolizing the release of resentment and the practice of forgiveness. The scene is peaceful and emotionally moving. Forgiveness was seen as fasting for the heart, clearing away bitterness so love could flow freely. Meditation and prayer were like sweeping the temple's inner chamber, removing dust and cobwebs so the oil could rise unimpeded. A montage of mindful activities, someone choosing to turn off negative media, engaging in quiet reading, speaking kindly to others. The visuals emphasize conscious choice and awareness, guarding the senses, being mindful of what one watched, listened to, and spoke, was a way of keeping the mind uncluttered and receptive. Purification of thought was not about perfection, it was about alignment. You are preserving the oil whenever you choose truth over falsehood, compassion over judgment, and stillness over chaos. Purity of the spirit. Beyond body and mind lies the spirit. Here, purification meant devotion. The seeker was asked, what do you worship? Do you worship fear, wealth, or power? Or do you align yourself with light, love, and truth? A visual metaphor showing shadows and light competing within a heart-shaped space, gradually resolving into pure golden light. This represents the choice between spirit and shadow. The sacred secretion could not rise in a heart divided between spirit and shadow. This is why traditions spoke of surrender, humility, and service, not as demands, but as keys. Beautiful scenes of someone tending a garden, helping others, and living with conscious reverence for all life. The actions demonstrate service and humility in daily practice. To live with reverence for life itself is to create a spirit pure enough to ignite the oil into flame, making it personal. Think of when you cleaned your home thoroughly, dusting every corner, washing every surface, and lighting a candle when it was complete. Didn't the space feel different? Lighter? More alive? A beautiful visual metaphor showing the human silhouette filled with golden light, representing the body as a sacred temple. The light grows brighter as purification practices are visualized around the figure. Now imagine your body, mind, and spirit as that home. Purification is simply the act of housekeeping. Each act of fasting, moment of forgiveness, and choice to love rather than fear is sweeping, polishing, and preparing the temple. When you live this way, the monthly gift has somewhere to dwell. The oil does not dissipate, it rises, a gentle approach. Purification does not need to be extreme. You do not have to live in caves or eat only roots. What matters is intention. Even small steps, such as choosing water over soda, silence over gossip, or forgiveness over anger, create purity. The sacred oil does not demand perfection. It responds to sincerity. Begin with what feels possible. 1 day of lighter eating around the new moon. 10 minutes of silence each evening. Write down one resentment you are ready to release. These simple acts prepare the temple more than rigid rules ever could. Why it matters. The ancients were clear. Without purification, the oil is wasted. With purification, it becomes light. Each month, you are given another chance, not to live perfectly, but to live with reverence. The body is already wise. The oil is already flowing. The only question is whether you will prepare yourself to receive it. Reflection prompts. What impurities in your life feel heavy to you? Physically, mentally, or spiritually? When have you experienced the clarity that comes after fasting, cleansing, or releasing? What simple act of purification could you begin this month? How does imagining your body as a temple prepared to hold light feel? Love over chaos. Get your copy of The Oil of Light by Tina Ketch today. Thank you.